The exodus from downtown Portland by big business due to street conditions, drug use, homelessness continues. U.S. Bank has just announced that they will not be renewing a lease in downtown Portland in the building known as Big Pink. Let's watch a quick video. Here we go.
Disappointing. And U.S. Bank has been a big part of the city for a generation.
I mean, this is a tragedy. It's deeply disappointing.
This week, U.S. Bank announced they are not renewing their lease at U.S. Bancorp Tower, also known as Big Pink, in downtown Portland. In a statement, the company cites a few reasons, including an expiring lease and the availability of a nearby facility that the bank owns. In a separate statement to the Portland Business Journal, they also said there will be no job reductions and employees will move to their other locations by end of year. City commissioners say the move is expected to make a negative impact on downtown.
It's never a good time, especially right now as we're trying to recover in our economy.
Andy Gingrich from the Portland Business Journal further breaks down some of those potential side effects.
This is the third major financial institution that's left downtown in the past couple of years. These are hundreds of employees that are going to be leaving downtown. That's going to affect the restaurants and the bars, the ancillary businesses that work with U.S. Bank.
Now, several businesses have moved away from the downtown area in recent years, with part of the blame falling on the city's handling of the pandemic, but also issues with crime and homelessness.
The vacancy rate downtown right now.
How many minutes in are we on this video? A minute 22, and it's a 2.5 minute video. It took a minute 22 to get to the point, which is street conditions at this location are tough. I reached out to a man in blue asking, hey, got this story? Is that a tough area? I looked at the map and I roughly knew where it was, but I didn't know specifically. This is a retired police officer that has walked this area, that has been boots on the ground for years and years and years. It was his district. His response was super tough area. So we're a minute something into this video, and then we get to the real cause, which is, hey, yeah, we don't want to renew this lease because street conditions are terrible in this part of town because leadership has allowed these conditions to happen. Let's keep going with the video.
Now is 31%. That's according to Collier's. And so that means like 1 out of every 3 office spaces is empty.
We have to dramatically change the environment in our city in terms of tax burden for those who are paying and public safety in general, welcoming space.
While the city says Portland has been seeing improvements in recent years due to their work,
we have a large number of new openings. In fact, new business openings are up substantially.
Mayor Ted Wheeler also says this won't be the last.
I think it would be naive to assume that we will not have other business closures. But I also want us to keep an eye on the big picture, to keep moving the ball forward, and to keep speaking with a voice of optimism about the future of this city.
The bank's new regional headquarters and some of its employees will now be in the Columbia Center in Northeast Portland. U.S. Bank will keep the client center and 4 U.S. branches in the downtown area.
Downtown is getting...
Will keep the client center and 4 U.S. branches. Some of its employees will now be in the Columbia Center in Northeast Portland.
What do we got going on here? What kind of hat is that? Is that a hat? Is that a hat or hair? We got some orange hair here, lots of tattoos. This is Portland. Yep, that's Portland.
U.S. Bank will keep the client center and 4 U.S. branches in the downtown area.
Downtown is getting cleaner. It is safer than it was 2 years ago, but it's not nearly where it was in 2019, and we need to fight it as fiercely as possible, restoring it to be a safe and livable place.
In downtown Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
So this is why they call the building the Big Pink, because it's kind of got that pink hue. Where is it located? You might ask, where's downtown Portland? All right. So big picture. Here's downtown Portland, right on the river, right? You got Washington right here. It is, let's zoom back in. All right. So when I was down in Portland covering the protest, we were right here. Let me give you my magic yellow. These were the 3 parks side by side. Here's the U.S. Bank building. And this is a known area that's been tough. Bad streak. You got a bunch of homeless people running around. You got a bunch of fentanyl going on. You got a bunch of drugs. You got a bunch of shoplifting, that whole thing, right? That whole set of circumstances that everybody knows Portland has been famous for is going on. The mayor's office said it has supported another business, Legit Script, moving into the building. All right. So again, what we're doing is let's ignore the fact that one of the biggest businesses in downtown Portland is moving hundreds of employees out because street conditions are terrible. And they don't want to have their employees subjected to this, area of town. Now you might say, Sean, that's really reading into it. Yeah, maybe. But when it's a rough area and a big company is saying, hey, we're still staying in Portland. We believe in Portland, but just not right here. We're moving folks into the Northeast Portland away from downtown. It's because they've allowed downtown to just run out of control. So you've got all this spin going on by Mayor Ted, and he has to do that. He can't just say, oh man, this sucks. Man, I really blew it here. During my time, things have gotten really, really bad. And you heard Rene Gonzalez, he's kind of more of a moderate person on the council indicate, and he's been pushing for, hey, we need better public safety. We need to get our act together. We need to get downtown going in the right direction. But because of all this liberal policy in Portland, in Oregon in general, this is what you get, the end result. And you can't outspin this. You can't put a spin on this to get away from the fact that US Bank is saying, downtown Portland, no go. We're going to move to Northeast Portland, away from all the ridiculousness, because the real ridiculousness, a lot of that's concentrated in downtown Portland. Suburbs has some. You've got homelessness in tons and tons of residential communities because leadership in Portland has just said, we love our fellow human being, even though they steal from us, they rob from us, they leave garbage on the streets, they litter the sidewalks with needles. We have robberies, we have shoplifting out of control. You got all that good stuff that so many other businesses is left for. You can't outspin. You can't put a spin on US Bank leaving. So that's why, this story here, it is disappointing. I always make fun of the word, it's concerning. US Bank leaving downtown Portland is concerning. But yeah, Mayor Ted tries to put a massive spin on it, and you just can't, because the bottom line is that another massive tenant is moving out because this is the end result of years of mismanagement, allowing conditions to happen the way they have, allowing Antifa to take over downtown. Now, let's go back to the 31% vacancy rate. You might say, wow, that is really high. It's not nearly as high as San Francisco. San Francisco's also got liberal policy, progressive policy, Democrat leadership, and look where they sit. They've got a vacancy rate of somewhere around 40%, and we've covered all the big businesses leaving downtown San Francisco. Now, there has been a trend with the whole work from home, because I'm always, I want to cover both sides and be reasonable. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to, if you're looking for going way hard just because, I'm never going to do that, because I think you can find the truth within far right, far left. It's somewhere in the middle. The truth is always somewhere in there, right? It's always somewhere in there. And you've got major metropolitan cities across the United States right now with big commercial vacancies because of the work from home that we experienced during the pandemic. Oh, let's shut down the economy. Greatest thing ever. Let's do that. Keep everybody safe. Yeah, this is the after effect of that. Oh, we don't need a lot of commercial office space. Okay, let's check that off of our budgetary needs. Great. Hey, we'll have you work from home. You, two groups of people that used to be in different offices, you're now going to consolidate in one. You're seeing a ton of that. And it's going to take years to work through that cycle and get to a point where the downtowns are in good shape. We've seen that in downtown Seattle. You've got a massive vacancy rate there as well. You've got businesses leaving there as well. Again, you've got progressive, liberal, Democrat leadership that has policy that doesn't jive with business. Doesn't jive with business. People don't want to walk to a business, street level business, where they have to step over the homeless, drug addict passed out on the sidewalk with his pants at his ankles. That is literally one of my images of when my son Brennan and I, who's no longer with us, he went down with me to cover the riots, Antifa being a myth, but they weren't in Portland. We covered that for an evening. It's on this channel. And I remember we went into a 7-Eleven that was just around the corner from the park I just showed you on the map. And I remember stepping over a homeless dude with his pants at his ankles, and he had taken a number 2 in his pants. And it was that was literally stepping over him to get into 7-Eleven. I can't remember what I was getting. It must have been important, some type of caffeine or something. But it was one of those images that will always, you don't really realize what's going on. You're like, okay, I'm just going to go in here because this is my experience. I just experience, how much worse could it be than the ridiculousness I saw last night, which was Antifa just basically having their way with city parks, having their way with the exterior of a federal building. I mean, shooting out security cameras, shooting out security lights with paintball guns. It's just utter chaos. This is the end result 4 years later, of allowing that type of activity to happen. This is the result. So that's what Renee Gonzalez is talking about. We've got to have better public safety on our streets. We've got to have better street safety in general. And so a lot of that is coming to roost here, and it's been coming to roost because in a lot of these big downtown cores, you've had, political leadership that has allowed homelessness, that has said, hey, drugs are great. Everybody should take them. We'll give you everything but the drugs. Here's your needles. And then wonder what, good Lord, our recovery downtown, it's taken a long time. And, they're forced to focus on, like what Mayor Ted talks about right here. Let me get my magic yellow. I should just use my magic yellow more. We're continuing to see promising data trends in crime rates, a 16% increase in business openings in 2023, the Ritz-Carlton, Soho House, and Daimler Truck North America, notable increases to downtown foot traffic, progress on homelessness, and we led in the development of a business tax incentive to encourage businesses to lease office and retail space. That being said, U.S. Bank is still leaving downtown. Yeah. Yeah. What do you say to that? That spin, it doesn't override the fact that U.S. Bank is leaving Big Pink. Big Pink is the second tallest building in downtown Portland. And they're leaving because, they have options elsewhere. And that's what happens. Businesses choose elsewhere when they're faced with, that's in a really bad area. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I cover these stories all the time, along with a bunch of other stuff. We'll see you then. Bye for now.